take a deep breath. Visit kindnesscalloway.com and join our circle of kindness. Now, let's begin.
Hello, and welcome back to Loving Kindness Every Day. My name is Kindness Calloway, and this episode is both a joy and a journey. Ryan is a husband, a father, an educator, an entrepreneur, and a true leader in our community.
So here I am learning aquaponics, and literally all this sciencey stuff. A guy who really hated science in high school, and I couldn't get funding for it.
We talk about what happens when you really think you're on the right path, but life is only giving you lemons. You're not getting the success that you thought the path was going to bring you. Specifically when it comes to entrepreneurship, the journey can be full of detours and sometimes a little frustrating. So I invite you to join me and Ryan as we discuss the Basil Me journey, one that was grown from failure, or at least what seemed like was failure, but maybe was all the while just a blessing. After the conversation, be sure to listen to the latter part of the episode where we are going to go on a little bit of a walk together, a little bit of an adventure and a journey into healing. Anyway, without further ado, this is Ryan Dunn.
Welcome to Loving Kindness Every Day, where you will hear everyday language such as 4-letter, 5-letter, or words that your mother might call profanity. Please be advised.
The man who plants the tree very seldom gets to enjoy the shade. So, just do your part.
Heard that.
Show up at career days. Me speaking. I go in there. I try to scare the hell out of them. I tell them that they eat their favorite honey buns, Skittle Pack, Takis, whatever it is that you love, Twix, Snickers. If you eat that today and tomorrow, over the weekend, then Monday, then you roll it back around to next week, and then you just do it for the rest of your life, you could potentially be blind.
And dead. Or
they're like,
that's
what? So there's 3 things that diabetes is the leading cause of. And I always tell them in this order. Kidney disease. You need kidneys? They're like, oh yeah, of course you need that. That kidney go bad, you gonna know. Secondly, amputations. Now depending on the age group, they're like, but it's always one person there like, what, cut something off? No, not something, a limb. They were like, yeah. I was like, imagine this is all of our foot right here. You got 5 toes and something gets infected and you're, diabetic gone unchecked. And it starts to just deteriorate and it starts to go, what do you have to, cut it out? Exactly. So I tell them about my Uncle Lou, who at this point, I have examples of it all. I've done this for a while before I would fact check the internet and say, hey, look at this. Like, now I just tell you what I've seen happen over time. Uncle Lou was born with 10 of these toes like we all were, but he went 20 years. He good cook, ribs falling off the bone. First place I saw that defined, but he's a snacker and all these things. He just didn't want to give up. And then they said that we needed to take 2 of those toes. Oh. And I tell them because the body is not supposed to be cut on. Surgery is not just a normal thing, that the body is supposed to experience. And his reaction wasn't good. So they ended up taking the rest of his leg the next day. So the 8 toes that he had, he went from 8 to 4. And now he's, has one of those, what you call those prosthetics? Yeah, one of those guys. With the knee down, still it's like your leg. So, but yeah, I was like, unfortunate. But what made me even look into this, third thing, blindness, Dr. Dre, not Beats Dre, not California Love Dre. But when I was younger, they had what they call Yo MTV Raps, Ed Love and Dr. Dre. Find out that Dr. Dre, the bigger one, is a diabetic and he's blind. I was like, why is Dr. Dre blind? I didn't know he was diabetic at the time, but I looked at the research and I was like, what? He's blind because he's what?
Because they ate too many cookies and crackers and snacks.
Man, that's exactly how. So every day, and I do this with career days or whatever they let me get in front of these kids, it's always one kid before they exit and say, is it just blow pops and Skittles? It's like, no, Negro. It's all of it together. Yeah. But you can just tell those wheels are turning, like, okay, do I need to be yes. You do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I do, But public schools. I don't know. I tell these kids right off now, if you're not taking the educational side of where we're at right now in this school, even if you don't like where you're at, even if you don't like any of the people here, if you're not taking it serious, at the very least, you're playing yourself. That's the ultimate equalizer. So that's really what we have to encourage them to do. Get out of that space, because kids don't do anything that's not cool anymore. Like, if it's not cool, they're not with it. So unfortunately, public education got tossed right into that uncool pool. So it's just like, and then Georgia with No Child Left Behind, worst thing that could happen. Worst thing.
Last week on Loving Kindness Every Day, we heard from Manika Gamble, the ultra-marathoner. We mention her later on in this episode, so here's a quick clip of Manika and I's conversation, and then we'll go back to Ryan.
Well, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, interesting.
And so there's that, but I wouldn't say like I'm praying to get through it. I really don't connect the two. And so I don't know, maybe I should, maybe I probably won't struggle as badly, but I don't connect them.
Do you feel comfortable discussing religion?
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about being a Jehovah's Witness and the appeal to you, and why you identify that way, and what that means to you? I will say I've been actually really wanting to talk to a Jehovah's Witness.
Really?
I really have. Because I don't understand it.
Okay.
And I'd like to understand more.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, and I don't mean to be cheeky, but I know that you guys are really happy to talk about it usually.
It's been referred to in some instances as a lifestyle type brand, and when it's a lifestyle brand, you're so close to it to where you're the face of it, the whole nine. And people sometimes in business frown upon that because you got to detach yourself from it. People need to be able to see the brand minus the person. But it's such a face forward world where when people like the person behind the brand, they support it for those moments as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but spirituality, of course, I'm a spiritual person. I'm a religious person as well. I was raised in the South, so we come from those churches where you do those numbers right there. That strikes up a chord, and you get to it. But with the brand, I feel like it was a spiritual connection that I had that made me pursue it, because I went to college and I felt like I wasn't gonna be a lemonade guy. Felt like I'd be a business owner, but never knew what type of business it was. So,
what does that mean to you, a lemonade guy?
A lemonade guy, a guy who's, lemonade stand as a kid. I sell lemonade now. Try this lemonade. It was different. I had to understand that I had to keep taking what the world gave me, just like I did in college, and make it what you need it to be. Just like when life gives you lemons,
Oh, okay.
Not really pardon the pun, but pun intended.
Yeah.
You make lemonade. But for sure, having gone to Clark Atlanta University and learning I'll find a way to make one was the motto. So that got us through a lot in college, and of course a lot since post-college. And I give you the fine detail all the way down to passing tests and whatever that took at will, finding a way or making a way. I must pass this class, I must get out of here. So I've applied that with everything that I've done with this. So that meant graduating and not having a solid job, but taking a job I could get, which was working with the enterprise. Then I left that job and started working with a mental health agency. That taught me a lot. Neither one of those jobs actually was what I learned in college. Of course, I learned how to go to class and be on time and be disciplined.
Sure, yeah.
But, I didn't really go to college to rent cars and enterprise, and I definitely go to college to say I'm going to work with kids.
Right.
But I felt like I was raised in a space where my discipline that I learned made sense for me to work with kids. I felt like a pretty level-headed person. Then I played in college, that teaches you another form of discipline. So I took this job as a mental health advocate, a family advocate, and I literally was going inside strangers' homes, talking to them about their kids and how I could help them. I'll find a way to make one. Okay. And then pushing forward to what got a little closer to where I am now, my entrepreneur journey, I work with Pepsi. And I just posted about that yesterday, and it got a lot of attention. I guess people just think you wake up where you are in business, but it had to come from somewhere. So when I worked with Pepsi, I ended up coming back to Atlanta, and that's when something happened spiritually where I felt like Basil Me needed to be a thing.
Talk to me about that. Talk to me about it sounds like there was a little bit of a struggle
Yeah,
There was a little bit of a hard time, possibly?
Not a hard time. I think that we get in our own way oftentimes. And I think that what you're looking for in the world is looking for you. But I tell kids, I talk to a lot of kids in the public school systems, career days, the whole nine. So I like to tell them that I don't trust people who can't sit still. Something about you I don't trust, because that's what allowed me to birth entrepreneurship, being in the greenhouse. So on Bankhead, where I ran the mentoring program, they started building a greenhouse in the backyard of that, and it was going to be an aquaponics system. And I heard of aquaponics prior, but not enough to where I wanted to immerse myself in it like this time I did.
Sure.
So here I am learning aquaponics, and literally all this sciencey stuff. A guy who really hated science in high school, and I couldn't get funding for it. I learned how to produce plants, cultivate plants without using soil. That's what aquaponics is. Using tilapia, fish waste, like you would use cow manure. Thought it was cool, thought kids needed to learn it because of my mental health days in those four walls that I found so interesting in my job or my career or my journey in college didn't lead me to, but being in that mental health space as a family advocate, I learned that it was a huge need in this world. And I learned that everything we see in the world actually comes from what goes on inside these four walls. What you see, what you don't see, the love you feel, the love you don't feel, what you're taught, what you're not taught. So when I got to learning what aquaponics was and knowing that child obesity is worse than it's ever been every year, child diabetes is same, I'm thinking like, well, if these kids learn how to grow their own food, that could strike some type of, mental core where later on they become farmers or later on they become self-sufficient. Like, I'm thinking this is like for the greater good or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Planting a seed.
Planting a seed, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna plant. Not every seed, germinates, but someone it's gonna stick somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't get funding. Sat there in that greenhouse for months, got a basic credential in aquaponics, and didn't have a job. So I started to experiment. And in that experimentation is when I birthed entrepreneurship.
And that's where this brand came from, through those experiments?
Yeah. Those experiments led to what we now see today as Basil Me.
So what did that feel like for you in that time where you couldn't get funding? And were you sort of like feeling, like what made you do those experiments? What made you say, okay, you know what, let me just do this instead of continuing to look for funding,
Yeah, for sure. Definitely didn't get any of the grants we reached out for. I went and sat with the mayor's office, sat with constituency services, sat with the governor's office, just trying to get funding. The guy who hated chemistry, right? But I knew that this was something tangible, something that they could put in their tool belt, something they can live with. In my mind, I'm like, okay, you guys don't understand aquaponics, but you can see this fact sheet that I'm showing you, right? And I was parading around time at the time showing a YouTube video of Shanti Das. She's actually the lady who introduced Outkast to the face. So she had a Take Me Home segment with the American Heart Association. She talked about all the social determinants of health and what it meant to society. So I'm showing her videos with prints of her YouTube video, like, hey, these are the facts. Couldn't get funding. So I was a little frustrated because I spent my time and my money learning this process only to not have a job. But I was sitting still every day. That was one thing that I loved. I was in that greenhouse. I would work out in the mornings. It was in the YMCA on Campbell Road, Ambassador Andrew Young's. I would work out in the mornings, right along some other elderly folks, similar to Jim downstairs, a little, bigger. And after they would work out, I would go tend to the greenhouse, and they would sit in the foyer and drink coffee.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I was like, So being in that greenhouse, the experimentation came from me wanting to show people outside of the greenhouse what went on inside, because people go in and out those doors at the YMCA every day and not even know, the coolest toy on the block is right here. It literally, we had over probably 3,000 gallons of water, over 200 tilapia, two different types of tilapia, which is a real fish. Dispel the myth. Anything found in the Nile River over 2,500 years ago, I think is up for debate that it is real. Now, do people genetically modify things? Of course. But I feel like that fish is real. So that was a part of what made the system work in the aquaponic greenhouse. So because I couldn't get funding, I took what I had a surplus of and I started to experiment. I had a surplus of mint, and I had a surplus of basil.
I get you. Okay.
So if you ever seen the movie Forrest Gump, if you remember the character Bubba Gump, sure. I was Basil Gump. I literally had basil plants my height. I mean, tall basil. I had Thai basil. I had lemon basil, lavender basil, chocolate basil, holy basil. I mean, I literally had basil. Like,
Chocolate basil?
yeah, dark leaves, purple basil. Yeah, smell like chocolate. I was shocked. So I'm thinking I can do some of this stuff. So I harvested 2 pounds of mint and I put it in a 2-gallon jug and I let it infuse naturally overnight. At the time in Riverdale, Georgia, my girl's apartment, now my wife, took it to the water the next day, right? Counter at the front where the coffee was actually, and set it next to the 2-gallon jug next to the coffee. And some cups. Nothing else. Just to see. Experimentation. So I kind of had a thought in my mind on what could and would happen. I didn't write it down, but I knew it was somewhat of a science project. I had a hypothesis because I noticed we age, things like digestive behaviors become more of a challenge. So if you consume natural things, that helps.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm a natural guy. I have these natural products in this greenhouse. Let me show these folks what I'm doing here. Like they say, the church, the people in the church typically know how it's supposed to go, how it runs, but it's people outside of the church that need to be reached. So that's what I did with the greenhouse. Take the stuff out of the greenhouse and show you guys, hey, this is how this works. So 5 days in a row, 2 gallons of water gone.
Whoa.
Nobody said anything, but the third day, and one person said something. Lady was like, hey, you put that water out there? I said, yes, ma'am. What'd you do? She was like, it's refreshing. But every time I drink it, I gotta go to the bathroom 10 minutes later.
Oh,
diuretic. I was like, oh, too much information, but
good to know.
I was like, yeah, like my little pink in the brain fingers. So I was like, okay. So the next week I made a basil lemonade. I had Ambassador Young's brother come by. I think his daughter was talking to me about using an agave, and at the time I thought she was trying to tell me guava, which I wasn't really familiar with either. I had heard of guava, not so much as agave, but I look it up, and it's still the lowest glycemic index available. And diabetic purposes, which I'm pretty sure these people I'm kind of guinea pigging, they have issues with. And my pops at the time, I was diabetic, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't gonna have anybody looking for me. So I took tidbits, and then somebody said, "Hey, try ginger too." I'm like, "All right, sprinkle." It's like, "Nah, the root." I was like, "All right, cool, whatever that is." So I'm like, go to the farmer's market. Like, "Hey, y'all got ginger root here?" It's like, "Yeah." Take me to it. Things hit my hand like, what? This is the ginger root?
Yeah, it's a heavy big thing.
Lemonade. Like, what am I gonna do with this? But again, back to my alma mater, Clark Atlanta, I found a way to make one. So I found a way to get it into the lemonade. I had to mask it because my wife, Jamaican, doesn't like it like that. But I knew I wanted to include it. So I had to mask it in a certain way. So I did that and let her taste it coming home from work one day. And she was coughing. She's a nurse, so she wasn't sick, but she was just, you just kind of get a cough. And I'm like, at this point, no, this is actually beforehand. So I actually put the jug out there. This is after that fact. So I put the jug out there just like the water, 5 days in a row, gone. He looked nasty, leaves all in it, clear jug, That next week I didn't do anything at all, 3rd week. And I was supposed to be managing the greenhouse because the guy who taught me how to manage it went to Kenya. So he left me to run this whole system. It's like having the best kid, the kid having the best toy on the block. What you do with it, you play with it. So I got new plants coming in. I got taking plants out. You can see the whole root system. I'm showing people. They're like, what? Super cool. So that 3rd week, got to make anything. And that's when people started to look. You know how when you have something occur or you think something's in a certain place, you go look for it. So you see this motion with the next. You're like,
where'd it go?
So they naturally come find me in the greenhouse. Some folks have never even been outside of their wire and to the greenhouse, they just go straight to their cars and leave. And guy, a girl, a lady comes in, hey, you make lemonade this week? I'm like, oh, no, but you can make it. Come on to this greenhouse. Look at this purple basil, just kind of lemon basil. Try at this point, looking back, like I'm trying to get the business away, right? Like, you come here, you make it. Like, this for you. They was like, oh yeah, cool. And didn't want to do it. Second person, same thing. hey, you make the lemonade, can you make it again this week? No, but you can make. So the second, third person that does it, you know, how many of you think actually went and did this? So this process has shown me a lot. Like, we are some lazy people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even me sometimes, like, but geez, like, when we're at this point, post-pandemic, we're just convenient people.
Oh, yeah, give it to me.
Give it to me, however it is. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, that.
Fourth, fifth person was like, a guy, he was like, man, if you make the lemonade for me, I'll pay you. That's the day Basil Me was born. I didn't know it at the time. But that's when the spiritual thing happened, because the lemonade guy didn't want to be, but he said he'd pay me. So I'm thinking, how do I confidently give him what he's asking me for, and I get in return, like, I know what you're giving me. I'm gonna appreciate this greenback.
Yeah, it's money.
It's cash. But I want to make sure what you had is the same thing. So how do we make sure we walk away both happy?
So you wanted to make sure that he didn't feel shortchanged?
Yeah, like this taste that you got from this lemonade that I don't make, that you want to pay me for. How do I recreate that again? Because of course it was just me just muddling around in the kitchen. So I was like, okay, let me think. Well, I've sold other things in my life illegitimately. I thought about those days, and I went and I bought 2 scales. One where I can weigh really big things, and one where I can weigh down to the 0.1. And that was essentially what the universe needed to see. It's like, oh, he gets it. Like, he's there.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Wow.
That's when it clicked.
There's something, it's really off topic, but there's something you said a while ago, Ryan, and I wanted to ask you, I want to go back to it. You said, I'm spiritual, but I'm also religious.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
So I think that with so much information that we have available to us, I think that people would like to have, and you should have your own opinion, but when you don't come from a base of what you believe or what you can believe, I think it gets scattered to where you take away from things versus try to find out what it's really about. Like, for instance, for me, I was born into a Christian family, so I was baptized. I am a Christian. I believe in the Trinity. I believe in Jesus Christ, who died for my sins. That's what I believe, right? So that's religion. But I'm also spiritual, meaning I know a touch of God when I feel it. Being in that greenhouse, sitting still, no money in my pocket, but I know that having done time with the mental health, well, not done time like it was prison, but worked in that space, like, I need to be learning this for a reason. Now, the natural person in today's society, what we call capitalism, you got to be making money. But I knew I felt good in that greenhouse, not rushing in traffic, not sitting in a cubicle next to somebody that I'm never going to speak to, and reporting to a boss that I don't like. It felt good. Wasn't paying me, but it felt good. That's not really religion. That's my spirit telling me that, right? So I'm leaning into that feeling of what my spirit is saying. So that's when I bought the scales, it didn't just relieve me. That's when it allowed me to experience what was about to happen.
So, if I'm understanding, like, your religious upbringing and background gave you the tenets and what to understand and to believe.
Sure.
And it brought you to the point of being able to experience, like, the spirit or the universe or whatever you might want to call it.
Sure.
To then, like, actualize things in your life.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Yeah, I dig that. I can understand
100%.
that.
Because if it wasn't for me having that upbringing that led to how to take in when certain things happen, it's all about how you respond to things, right? So with me pursuing that behavior, I was responding to something the universe was trying to tell me. I thought it was one thing where, hey, I'm about to have a program coordinator position, teaching these kids how to grow food because I have been in this space and I know they don't eat. It gets back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like, you don't have food, you're not safe, you don't care that I actually have what you need right here because you're missing the core elements of it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I need to be doing it. And it seems kind of weird. Like, how do you do this? Like, how do you get to a space where you know you're not making money and just like stay there for a minute? But I knew it felt good. So when I got to that crossroad, it's like, oh, I'm either gonna go get a job, or I'm gonna stay learning this work in this greenhouse, because somebody has to learn this behavior. Now you can fast forward time and see that they started projecting 25 years from now, 2050, we're gonna have 2 billion more people on this planet Earth, and the average farmer is 60 plus. I didn't know that then, but knowing the information I know now, I think it's pretty damn important to be able to share this for people to understand that even if you're not a farmer, the logistical pieces of it, the supply chain is something, because who's gonna feed
you? Can't eat paper. You can't eat the dollars on the screen.
You can't eat your degrees on the wall, like the old Kanye, you know. But yeah, like that crossroad led me to that space where I bought those scales, and literally within that week, I woke up in the middle of the night, and it was during this moment that I knew it was on. Like, so I already had been tinkering, I want to say, with just the taste of it, because I knew I can make money. But the ginger, I masked that, and it spoke to me, because when my wife came in with my girl then, she tasted no ginger, she tasted all that was in there. But what stood out, she didn't cough anymore for the rest of the night.
There it is. Okay.
I was like,
Yeah.
Then Pops had experienced some challenges with his lower back. Actually, I think he used to tell tales, like my mom used to say, to get a check because he's former military. But it caught up with him, as she always said it would. Walking with a cane the whole night. I actually needed one later. I ended up leaving a gallon of what we know now as Basil Me in the refrigerator in Augusta, and I just started a light research about inflammation. And of course, my wife, you know, she's an RN. You know, I bought the Got Basil brand, which I'm pretty sure I have on. Yeah, under here. Yeah, that's all I wear, my brand. So I bought this brand because I wanted to ask people, do you know basil's good for you? Like, because I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? But it is. So I ended up finding out that basil in a research project can reduce inflammation within the body by 70-something+% within a 24-hour time frame.
Whoa.
I was like, that's supremely high. Although it's not the entire world, it's, you know, it's a focus group, probably 100 people, maybe 20, but still, these are human bodies. So I called Pops, like, yo, read an article. He was like, oh, that's great. I was like, why? Because of the article I just read you? He was like, nah, because I drank half of that gallon in the refrigerator. I only have my cane today. I was like, what?
He said basically, it's working. That's correct.
So that was 2 days. I was like, wow, what is something's happening here. So I go to sleep that night, or either the night after that, and literally woke up between what they call in the religious world, which is why I think it's important to understand both. Choose what you want. But in the religious world, it's a sacred hour that God speaks on. And I knew about it because of my mom. So my mom divorced my dad within the time frame of I'll be the man what affected age-wise. I got 2 brothers, one 7 years older, one 7 years younger. And then being in the mental health space, you learn that if anything traumatic happens between 5 and 15, it's gonna lead some trauma. So the divorce, right? So she divorced him, and then she's getting up in the middle of the night every night because she had custody, checking on us, making sure we're good. Because she's like, I'm the man and the woman of the house, which of course she was.
Yeah.
But every night we were sound asleep, no worries. And she realized that was God trying to let her know that he got her back. Like, you just rest. So when I tell you, I was waking up in the night all the time, years prior, and it had not happened at all. Like literally, like 7 years prior, it was just happening all the time. And 7 runs my family. Like that's like something that stood out to me. Like birthdays in July. Grandmother had 7 kids. My mom was the 71. Me and my brothers were 7 years apart. And my mom is, you know, the 7th of the 7 kids that my grandma had. So she was telling me about that story. So somehow she ended up telling me about it. No. I was waking up in the middle of the night, and she told me that story about her waking up in the night. First she got quiet on the phone. It was like, what time is it? Is you literally waking up after like 2:55, but always before 4. And the sacred hour is between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. according to the religious population, Christian population. And she was like, yeah, just pray and go back. Well, she asked me again, well, what time was it? I'm like, well, I already told you twice. So I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, I never thought it'd be you. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm just a heathen. Like, what does this mean? Like, she told me a story about that. I'm like, oh. She's like, yeah, next time it happens, just pray and go back to sleep. I was like, okay. Never happened since then. Until I bought those scales and those two things happened. I wake up in the middle of the night, 7 years later. And this is the first time I'm actually able to apply what she told me 7 years prior. Of course, I wasn't thinking about it at the time because I just realized something had happened and it was happening right then and there. I woke up and I had the deepest anxiety. Like, in my household, we were latchkey kids. So, if your parent came home and you were like sitting on the couch and they come to the door, like they know you missed that bus. That's an ass whooping. That's how I felt when I woke up. Like, oh shit, I'm late. Like I gotta get somewhere. And then it just felt like a vibration. Like you gotta get up and make this lemonade. You gotta get up and make this lemonade. You gotta get up and make this lemonade. Like it was just in my head. I'm like, really? I was like, who coming to get? And, literally I just felt like I was late. And from that point, it's been on. And that was the experience that, I typically share that in certain instances that people in the crowd understand, but oftentimes I don't get that deep into it because, people are like, well, it sounds weird. Yeah, it sounds weird.
Yeah, whatever.
But I tell you, like, I kind of got chills now. I was like, man, that was that moment. I was like, okay. That's why I said at the beginning, like, what you're looking for in the world is
looking for you. Yeah. I've heard that before. That resonated with me a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
I grew up in Christianity too. I had never heard that about the hour and the time.
Oh yeah. Just research. It's stuff out there. I always feel like it's enough information for you to piece together what makes the most sense for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I know some people. I even heard recently people use Chat GPT and give it off type signals. Because everybody's using the same thing, you know what I mean? So now it's taking down stuff that may not be totally accurate. And then I'm on the East Coast and you on the West Coast playing, I'm telling me some lies that you just programmed essentially. But yeah, it's always good to just have several sources. But yeah, I knew that time. Like I saw that clock, I was like, oh wow, what's going on here? But it was heavy.
Interesting. Tell me though, like Ryan, what else does this stuff do?
Basil?
Yeah. So you made some interesting things, like that I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna start drinking that now.
Yeah.
But like, what else? What else are people saying?
Oh man, so it's so. It's the king of the herbs, right? And I know our Caribbean people, our island people, our native people, we've always been in spaces years beyond to utilize things like this. So I'm pretty sure the ancestors just eating that popcorn right now, like it's he gonna do us right. Yeah. But yeah, like I wasn't a farmer all my life. I say I'm a farmer now because I know how to do this. I do teach kids farming techniques. But with basil and some of my recent testimonials, I know that I'm on the brink of probably like the theory of relativity all over on some craziness, because Basil Me may even be a female product by the end of the year, solely because the cramping and bloating that women experience, guys are nowhere near cognitive of, and that's why my wife would get on me about that in public appearances, doing vending opportunities, like talking about cramps out loud, and lo and behold, somebody's like, what? Because it's analogous to heart attack pain in some people's eyes and lives. Even my younger brother, his wife was one that would probably not even go to work, just bent over, So it's like cramping and bloating, you know what I mean? That's super huge. So I've seen it 16 on the spot, 36 on the spot. So that's one. Guys don't have that happen to them probably nowhere near as frequently. But the latest also, which would include a woman, African American woman, a lady who got, she would buy 4 bottles from me, and she just shared with me recently her regime. And she said she would drink 2 she would get it right around her cycle. She would drink 2 right before her cycle because she would be throwing up. I never really added that. Yeah, oh, wow, I never really added that to, what I might spill, I guess. But yeah, she was like, she would drink 2 prior to her cycle to prevent that, and then she would freeze the other 2 and drink it after her cycle. So she did this for like 6 months. Went into her doctor, and her doctor told her that her fibroids had shrunk. that's the only other thing that she done differently. So at this point, if you're out there, listeners, you got a good OB, you know, you want to send my way. A hustler, though, I don't want nobody that's punching no clock. Ain't no hate, no shade, but we this is history for real. Cause so I did talk to an OB, my boy Oski. Y'all might know Oski out there. Shout out to him. He introduced me to a young lady. We spoke, but she's writing a book, her second, so she doesn't really have the time, and I get that because book writing, just like reading, you know what I mean, it's a real thing. But she did say she looked it up and she didn't see any association with the two. And I was like, yeah, because it's not out there. I'm trying to make history here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the second testament. Some time back, prior to COVID, a nurse that my wife worked with, I forget her name, she actually had the procedure where she was trying to, like, I think you stop feeding the fibroids by cutting off the blood supply. It's like you tie the nerve up, snip the something. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if you could tell her. But yeah, so she drank the basil months beyond that, and I saw a text message between her and my wife exchange saying something. She was like, what's in this basil? Because she said she felt like whatever she felt when she had that procedure done, she felt that same type of sensation drinking that. She's like, I don't know what's going on with it. This must have aggravated them. So, oh, that's interesting. So that was then. But this person I know, and she shared this with me, and I'm like, okay, small research will tell you that over 80% of African American women between birth and age 50 or so is going to experience uterine fibroids. So that's a lot. I actually had a good friend I just ran into the other day, like 2 days ago. She had surgery, 26 fibroids, 26, and so they probably added, I don't know how much weight, but it's a real thing, and I think it's, you know, it's probably in the food. But this is something that's near and dear to my heart because it works even before COVID, even during COVID. Like just having the aromatics around us so much, producing it, that's good for blood flow. And you know, I encourage students to have their parents take them to a field trip to Home Depot. Get you a basil plant, put it next to your bed, write a name on it, marker, you know what I'm saying, talk to it, and then eat a leaf a day. That's what I was doing in the greenhouse. When I find out antiviral, antibacterial, spasmodic, you know what I mean? Those are the cramps. Like I'm like, okay, viral, bacteria, that's acne, all right? So I'm gonna eat 2 leaves a day. Like I didn't have acne. Like I don't want it. Like I'm just, you know, not watching it or nothing. It's like, why don't we do things like that? But people every day say, what, basil? What? The one that the herb is it's interesting. It's an interesting space.
I feel blown away. That's I'm gonna be cheeky and ask you to give me one more bottle.
No, I got it for you. Make sure you shout somebody out. Let them know that basil me saved my life today.
About something. It reminds me. No, so I have a friend. She used to live here, and she runs ultra marathons. She's also African American. Well, actually, I hate using that term.
Okay.
Sorry.
She's black.
I really hate that term. My jacket's black. My sweater is black.
So she's not brown?
She's chocolate brown.
Okay.
She's most certainly chocolate brown.
She's chocolate brown. I have a chocolate brown friend.
Yes. And anyway, she also recently had fibroid surgery, and she posted on Instagram. She's got a pretty large following, and she was kind of like one of these transparency posts to be like, I have been in agony since I had the surgery, and it hasn't stopped, and I need something. And when you were saying to me about that, I says, I'm going to text Monica when I finish talking to you, tell her to get some, because
it's the real thing.
She's local and she can come and get herself out of pain, because that's crazy. Yeah.
Ryan's journey really inspired me to take it easy, to remember that the spirit is leading, thinking of certain things and finding myself encouraged by the spirit to do them. So maybe it's because knowledge is power, or maybe because my attention is focused on it, because I'm aware of it now. Whichever one works, I'm not sure, but It was definitely inspiring to me. I was also encouraged to eat a lot more basil, and as my family and friends know, I have been bugging them as well about Basil Me and talking to them incessantly about basil. So here's to you, Ryan, and to your success business, and let the journey continue to inspire and encourage our children, especially to choose, better beverage options. Maybe instead of a soda, they can have a nice basil drink. You guys tell me what you think. Now is the time that we're going to do something a little new. I'm going to introduce to you V from Asheville Sanctuary. She's going to be a regular voice and a cue for you to start to think about how you feel. So as V invites us to wind down, I want you to join me in taking a deep breath and allowing yourself just a moment. Look at your clock and give yourself 10 minutes just for you. 10 minutes to calm you. 10 minutes to relax you. 10 minutes to affirm you in who you are. You're divine, and it's true. You are healthy and healing too. And your body and your mind and your spirit's healing. So, I invite you just to take a moment, go on what I'd like to call a virtual walk with me. Now, here's V. Community, conversation, and connection. Find out what's happening at kindnesscalloway.com. Now, come along.
The Asheville Sanctuary. It's a magical little sanctuary. Okay, so just invite you to find a comfortable position, and if you want to sit down and just make yourself really comfortable, and just begin to find your breath, noticing the rise and fall of your belly. And just taking stock of how your nervous system is doing, how your body is doing, your muscles. I like to, if you bring your awareness to the top of your head and just slowly track your body all the way down, noticing and softening as you go, anywhere that you're holding tension, allowing that to release. And just becoming softer as you go. And then I want to invite you on your next exhale to take a big deep breath in, up through your root, up from the earth below, all the way up through the center of your body, up through your core channel, up into your heart, your chest, your throat. Just holding your breath for a moment. Now with a nice big long sigh. And just arriving here in a gentle way, a more spacious way. And this is a grounding. What I like to do when we first open our circles, just to help us arrive here at Asheville Sanctuary.
Come with me. Let's take a walk and enjoy some time together, just you and me. Let's move forward on a loving kindness journey. Right here, right now, you are safe. You're safe now. And you've landed somewhere soft, quiet, calm, and gentle. The path beneath our feet feels good. And as we walk along, with every step, your body feels lighter. You begin to hear the sounds of nature, the soft steps, the crunching of the rocks underneath our feet, the birds, the grass, the calm. With every step you take, you feel better, somehow more relaxed, more at home, more at ease. Your feet feel good too, and your toes as you wiggle them in your shoes. They fill with a sense of calm. Everything is calm now, and finally you can relax. Relax. The scent of the breeze brushes your skin and warms your nose. Right now you feel good. Our feet feel good. Why do I feel so good right now? Our feet feel calm. Why does it seem so easy for me to feel good in this moment? Our toes, as we wiggle them, fill with a sense of calm. And everything is calm now. Why do you feel so good right now? We can relax. Here, no one needs anything from you. No one needs anything from us here. There's no pressure on us here. Just awareness, presence, calm. Here we are, we've arrived at the perfect place for you and me to simply be. And maybe you want to lay down, and that's alright, you can, for as long as you want. Also, there's a chair over there. And as I point to it, you notice it for the first time. To you, it seems like the perfect seat, ideal. It's inviting and comfortable. This is your space. It's your place. This is your perfect creation. This is your perfect moment of self-love. Your perfect bit of self-kindness. Your sacred pause of self-compassion. As you exhale, you give thanks for the energy that guided you here to this moment with me. And whatever you choose, I invite you now to breathe. Choose to breathe with me. In through the nose and out through your mouth now. One more time. And a deep breath of gratitude. Nice and slowly. In through your nose. Together with me. And out. Now gently listen. Be patient with me as I speak to you and I tell you that I know some people have a harder time with their bodies than I do. And for that right now, I choose to be grateful. Things could always be worse, I think, don't you? I've seen worse. Have you? I've learned what it's like to live through worse. Have you? Yeah. But now we're here, and for now we're okay. And for that, I'm grateful. I've made it through every hard time, every hard thing I've ever faced, I made it through, and so have you. I can do hard things, and so can you. But I don't always have to. Now I allow ease. You allow ease too. God makes everything easy and light for you and I. Our path is opening up with grace. My life is beginning to flow again. Our lives are flowing again. Everything is beginning to flow to us with grace. Everything is beginning to bless us with grace. Every time we turn around, something really good is happening to us. And finally, we've found something that works for us. And I feel a little bit lighter than I did before. My healing has already begun. Say it with me. My healing has already begun. I love myself. and I've always done the best I could with what I've had. Now I give myself permission to move forward with more love, more clarity, and more peace. I let go of effort. I let go of trying. I let go of needing to fix myself or others. I don't need to fix what's already healing. What I let go of lets go of me. And I don't have to force anything. I just let myself be, and the healing happens. I speak healing over myself consciously. I let the words of healing softly wash over me and heal me. I am choosing myself. I am choosing kindness. That means being kind to my body and my mind. Being kind to myself matters to me now. My health matters to me now. I prioritize my peace. I prioritize myself. I prioritize my care. I prioritize feeling good. And it's already working. It's funny how good I feel now all of a sudden. Why do I just feel so good all of a sudden? Why does my body feel better than it ever has before? Why is it so easy for me to lose weight now? Why is it so easy for me to be healthy and to eat right now? Divine forces are guiding my healing choices now. The right foods and the right timing and the right rhythm are all aligning in my life. My life is now flooded with the right foods, the right people, the right timing, the right energy. I'm proud of the choices I'm making every day, of the choices I made yesterday, and today I'm even more aligned. I'm doing the best that I can every day. I am a work in progress, and I'm patient with the process. My body is responding to my love. I can feel it. I'm suddenly feeling better. I am improving every day. Why is it becoming easier and easier for me to feel so good? Why do I just feel so good all the time? It's amazing how good I feel now all of a sudden. I'm so glad I changed my eating habits for good this time. I choose to live a lifestyle that's sustainable, full of joy, flavor, and healing. My life is full of joy, abundance, flavor, prosperity, healing, and joy. I genuinely enjoy my own company. I genuinely enjoy my food. I genuinely enjoy eating in a way that makes me feel healthy and strong. I love my food and my freedom. I love eating healthy food and enjoying freedom. I'm so happy that I can eat healthy and enjoy financial freedom. What is mine by divine right cannot be taken from me. And my radiant health is my divine right now. I love the way my body looks. I love the way my body feels. I claim it now, right now. Joy, peace, and prosperity in my body, mind, and soul. I give thanks to the Creator of the universe for my gentle healing revealing. My healing journey was enjoyable and real. I give thanks to the Creator for making my healing gentle, enjoyable, and real. Right now, I call on the universe of ease. I speak ease and light over our lives. right now. The universe is making light and easy our way right now. Our path is opening up with grace in perfection, and our lives are beginning to flow again in the right direction. Everything is beginning to flow to us with grace and perfection. Everything is beginning to flow to us with ease. Only good things are coming to us, and they are coming every day in every way. And we have found something that works for us. I feel a little lighter today than I did the day before, and my healing has already begun.